It's the bane of the movie industry, yet we're seeing more and more of them. Video game movies have been mired with controversy and destroyed by critics, but what do the fans have to say? We're about to take a crack at this heated topic on a new episode of Cinema Talk. And now please, quiet on the set. Afternoon and evening, everybody. This is a new episode of Cinema Talk. I'm your host, Ayinde, as per usual, and joining me is practically a co-host at this point, Zach Rogers.
Hey, what's up?
And joining me, a new face on the Cinema Talk show, a buddy of mine, Adam Lorfink. Adam, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
Of course, I gotta have you on here. We're gonna be talking about video game movies. We're all pretty big gamers here, and why not talk about it after seeing one of the biggest opening weekends for any video game movie? We're going to get into that with our box office roundup. Adam, since you're new, we're going to go over the top 5 box office winners, and then we're just going to sort of briefly talk about them, give our opinions after we go through all the numbers. So we're going to start from number 5. We're going to talk about Bad Boys for Life, dipping only 6% from last weekend, making $11.3 million, totaling $368 million worldwide. It's the first $300 million movie of 2020. Good for them. At 4th, we have new release The Photograph, neck and neck with number 3, Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island just edging out The Photograph. Photograph getting $12.27 million in its opening weekend, while Fantasy Island scored $12.4 million in its opening weekend. Photograph, however, has much better critical reception. Fantasy Island's getting slammed by critics, so I hope...
When I saw the trailer for it, I was like, how is it? This is not going to do well. This doesn't appeal to me. I don't think it appealed to a lot of people, but...
I mean, when I saw the trailer for it, the concept of it seems like a good idea. It seems like it's something that, if done properly, can be really cool. But I don't foresee it being done properly.
It's based off an old show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, trying to make it into like this sort of weird, fantastical thriller, I don't know if it works. We'll see. But then at 2, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey got renamed after the abysmal opening weekend that it had last week.
What was the title before?
I have to do this again? Okay.
Yes, you have to do this again.
Yeah. Birds of Prey, or The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Okay, There you go.
This is a much better title. It made $17.1 million this weekend. It barely crossed $143 million worldwide. It needs over $300 million to break even, and it's right now it's not looking good, especially with the new releases coming down the pipeline. Yeah. But we got to talk about the story of the weekend.
This ties in perfectly. This ties in perfectly.
At number 1, rolling around at the speed of $57 million in its opening weekend, the highest grossing opening weekend for any video game movie, Sonic the Hedgehog. You see what I did there? See what I did there with the
yeah. Can I just...
Yeah, round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think this is a perfect example of what happens when you listen to your fan base.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because especially when it first came out with the animation, they heard the fan backlash and they said, oh, let's fix this. And they did. A lot of movies and a lot of video game companies, when they hear something like that, they're like, no, it'll be good when it comes out. You like when it comes out. And then it doesn't work.
I think it's hard for them because they had to spend millions and millions of dollars to just redo the animation. So it wasn't an easy process. But they did it for the fans.
And think about it, the budget's only like $89 million.
Which is pretty good.
And that's not including marketing expenses, which probably this film's probably looking at like maybe $120 million when it comes to budget. The movie made $111 million in its opening weekend worldwide. There's no way this movie's not making its money back.
No.
This is what happens when you listen to your fans.
Yep.
The movie industry, Hollywood, take notes. This is what you can make money. Just listen to your fan base. They will come see your movies. Yeah. I'm not throwing shade at Harley Quinn, but I'm throwing shade at Harley Quinn.
I was most excited for Sonic the Hedgehog, mostly because to see Jim Carrey play Egghead.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, that's gonna be amazing.
Well, Jim Carrey hasn't been in like a mainstay movie in a long time.
Yeah, he really hasn't. So
no,
it's good for him for getting a marquee role as the main villain of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Last time we played a villain was what? Batman Forever.
We don't talk.
We don't talk about that. Hey, that movie was great as a kid, but I refuse to watch it now because I don't want to ruin it.
All right, guys. So moving on, we have a movie news roundup. Adam, I pick a couple stories, and we sort of just give our opinions one by one. First one, we got to talk about this. This is the most recent one. Matt Reeves released a camera test and the first look at Robert Pattinson in The Batman. What are our thoughts? I know there's a little of a divide here in the room.
Is there?
Okay. Let me just speak out for a second. I love the music. Michael Giacchino, right? Michael Giacchino?
Yeah. That's
one of my favorite composers. The music was amazing. I do not like the costume. I do not... I don't like Robert Pattinson as the Batman. It just doesn't seem like a good fit to me.
See, for me, a lot of people would agree with you in that because the only thing anyone knows him from is Twilight.
Yeah,
but
I mean he's been in a lot of other
movies.
Been
in a multitude of indie films, and he definitely has the acting chops. Like you've seen, he can definitely play both Bruce Wayne and Batman very well.
I don't know if you've seen The Lighthouse, which is a film with him and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
He is fantastic in that movie, and that movie his performance sold me on the fact that he can play Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And what I actually love, I'm with you, Adam. I love this. What I love about this suit, one, it's very reminiscent of the Arkham suit.
Yeah, and those are amazing games.
Was this storyline supposed to be on like the noir Batman?
Yeah, it's a detective noir story. It's not like your traditional Batman story. It's not like The Dark Knight, or it's not like the Ben Affleck's Batman. And it's a detective.
We don't talk about the Ben Affleck.
Hey, listen.
No. We don't talk about Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck was actually a good Bruce
He was
Wayne.
a great in Batman vs Superman. He was a really good Batman.
Yes, he was.
And they ruined him in Justice League.
Once they put him in Justice League is when I don't.
Well, because they had clashing tones with trying it to be funny, but then he was serious, but he tried to be funny.
And also,
I just didn't like.
Go.
Oh, you go.
No, I just wanted to talk more about, Robert Pattinson. The thing that I love the most, and I've told you guys this earlier, is that there's a rumor going around. It may not be confirmed, but the bat symbol on his chest, if you look at it very closely, it looks like the hilt of a gun. Again, this is rumors, but it's apparently made from the gun that killed Martha and Thomas Wayne.
From Joe Chill?
Yes. Dude. There's no way. This movie's gonna be awesome.
And we were talking with one of our friends the other day about that, Ayinde, and she was against the idea. She was like, that's dumb. But at the same time,
if you think about it, though.
Yeah, it shows that he keeps on reminding him of what he's fighting for.
But it also shows, like, of the directors and people, they're paying close attention to detail.
Exactly.
They're doing, you can see DC's doing their homework now with all their heroes.
Big question, is it going to be a part of the DCEU, or is it another standalone like Joker?
No. Matt Reeves said entirely that he does not want to be a part of the DCEU. He's making it a standalone.
So it will be like the Dark Knight trilogy, pretty much.
Right.
Okay.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
I feel like the only way Batman can do well is not a part of any universe, just by himself.
I mean, he does well by himself, and I feel like when Batman vs Superman came out, or when the trailers and stuff first came out way back when, I was so excited for that. I saw that and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so good. And then they botched it. They entirely botched it. They didn't do their homework on the comics at all. They didn't listen to fans, nothing. They botched it.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to our next story because there's a lot to talk about. We got a couple more stories we got to talk about. Rick Moranis has confirmed that we're getting a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Do we even need a sequel to this?
No.
Wasn't there already a sequel like Honey, I grew the kids or something?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No, Honey, we shrunk ourselves. Yeah, that's right.
But no, I don't think we need this.
We don't
need another Honey, I Shrunk movie.
I mean, it was a good movie, but like that's not my.
I think it just people are talking about it because it's Rick Moranis. Like he's coming out of his self-imposed retirement for this film.
Yeah,
I think what the big thing about it and why it's becoming is because people want nostalgia. Like people want to be reminded of like their childhood and stuff. So I think that's the main reason for it, because that was a staple for a lot of people's childhoods growing up. So I think that's the main thing for it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. But...
What worries me is that I don't want this to get the Ghostbusters treatment.
Yes, that like
we're talking about
the
like
female
the
Ghostbusters.
Paul Feig Ghostbusters treatment. I don't want that to happen.
Oh, what
to
the
this.
Paul Rudd one?
Not the Paul Rudd one. The Ghostbusters Afterlife looks awesome.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry. There's a Paul Rudd Ghostbusters?
Yeah,
Yes. Paul Rudd's in the
What?
Ghostbusters. You didn't know this?
No.
Yeah, there's
Paul
a
Rudd's
trailer
gonna
for
be in the new Ghostbusters.
Afterlife.
I didn't even know it was coming to go. Oh, I'm so watching that. That
Yeah.
sounds
It's
awesome.
absolutely. It has what's his name from Stranger Things? Finn Wolfhard.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and I think Eleven's in that movie too.
Yeah, she is. That is
Why
true.
are there kids?
I don't.
What are they? Are they?
You have to watch the trailer.
You have to watch it.
Well,
yeah.
But
I'll watch that after.
yeah,
this.
they did botch it with the female Ghostbusters. Not that like representation isn't good, but just like the acting and the story was terrible.
Yeah, everything about the movie was bad, and I don't fault the actors, I fault the screenwriters, I fault the director. You tried to make a statement while not trying to make a fun movie, and I get some people have fun with the movie. Listen, if you like that movie, good on you.
See,
you go enjoy that.
You can make a statement and have a good movie. Look at Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
She's the rule. Like, so.
And maybe Captain Marvel.
No, not at all. Not at all. Don't kid yourself. We don't do that here, Zach.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Captain Marvel wasn't that bad. Okay, Brie Larson wasn't great, but the storyline itself wasn't bad.
If you talk to...
I didn't think it was.
Well, we were good friends with Brandon. We talked to Brandon, and he hates it. That's his worst movie. That's his least favorite movie.
Yeah, we did
Wow.
an episode where we ranked we talked about our favorite movies and least favorite movies of the year. He railed into that movie.
Wow. All right.
And
now,
moving on, we gotta talk about Disney because you can't escape movies without Disney. Like when you talk movies, you gotta talk about Disney.
Yeah.
And Disney has confirmed that they're moving forward with a sequel to their live action Aladdin movie. According to producers, it will not be based on the story from Return of Jafar and will instead be an original story.
Okay.
Where could they go from here?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because I remember their sequel, Return of Jafar. Like, it wasn't necessarily good, but I watched it as a kid. Yeah. And that's what I was thinking. But it's going to be a standalone?
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's not based on any sort of material. Like it's not Return
I don't know how I feel about that because I just stopped making remakes. The old ones were good. The remakes, you don't need to make a new story if you want to make a new story.
Well,
Keep it animated.
The reason for the remakes is, if my understanding is correct about this, when Walt Disney was dying, he put in his will that Disney had to remake they had to make movies every 10 years.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why, at least my understanding is that's why they're doing this. Is they're making it live action with the new technology for the younger generation.
I mean, and they're not, I can see they're not like completely like taking the story from the cartoons carbon copy. They're like twisting the story a little
definitely
bit.
Adapting it.
Yeah.
The only ones that they did like a carbon copy of was Lion King, but they took out so much. They took out Scar's song. They took out some Rafiki songs.
All the singing.
That's why. This is the reason why I didn't even like go see the Lion King when it came out because they took out "Be Prepared." I was like, I'm done. That's the best song in that movie.
I haven't even seen it yet, and I refuse to see it.
See, I went to see it. Because my job back home, they did like a free thing so we could watch it. So that's why I went and saw it. But I was so excited to see it because Lion King is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I was so excited for it. And they took out so much of my favorite scenes to give Beyonce a solo. I'm not.
Yeah, listen, we're not gonna rag on Beyonce, but come on, I would rather have Be Prepared over.
Of course.
But, and they didn't have Jeremy Irons come back.
Of course, I love She Was Hella Gia4, but he's not Jeremy Irons. He's not. He's not. So now we're gonna move on to like the big topic. We're talking about video game movies. There's a lot to talk about, so we're gonna start off by opening. Why do they suck? Because every single video game movie basically sucks.
Not all of them. See, not all of them.
See, a lot of them. Like I'll agree with. I'll be the compromise here. There aren't exactly amazing, astounding movies, but if you look at them as movies without tying them to a video game, they're good. Once you tie them to the video game is when they start. Like Prince of Persia, I never knew it was a video game. And then once I saw that it was, and then once I found out and I saw like gameplay from the video game, I was like, that doesn't match up. Yeah. But itself as a movie was great.
I agree with Adam because the reason why most of these movies fail is because of nostalgia. It's because they tie it back to the original game and they're like, oh, they changed some things up. I don't like this. Or the deliverance was different from playing a video game. But I don't know. When you're playing a video game, it's different from watching a movie because you're a part of the story. when you're watching a movie, they're like doing something separate from what you're doing.
Well, see, some of these movies, but here's the thing: some of these games they lend themselves to making great movies. One of my favorite video games of all time, favorite video game franchise, one of at least, is Resident Evil. Resident Evil lends itself to being great video game movies, but they botched it because, well, you take out Chris, you take out Jill, you take out Leon until like the fourth movie. Not even the fourth movie, it's like the fifth one. You take out everything that made those games memorable. Like you take out the mansion, the scene with the dogs coming in through the window. You get the tyrant in the second movie but even then he's not really the tyrant. You don't really get Nemesis. You really don't get anything that makes Resident Evil. So how are you gonna get those people who are fans of of that franchise into it when they're watching it and going, this is not Resident Evil. This is people who think that they're making a Resident Evil movie, but they've never played a game before.
Speaking of Resident Evil, like you said, that was like one of your favorite like franchises. Like I haven't like played a lot, but one of my favorite franchises that I'm starting to like get into more is Assassin's Creed, and they completely botched that movie.
There's
I mean, like if you watch it without paying too much attention to it, without playing the games, it's still not good, but it's not that bad.
Even if you heard about the game, you're like, this doesn't match up.
Yeah, no, like this ain't it, Chief. Like
right, and like other like Doom. Oh man, I can go on about how bad Doom is if you've played Doom.
See, I've played Doom, but when I was younger and I watched that movie,
this movie's awesome when you were young.
Yeah, when I was young, that movie was great.
Young. I will concede there's some great stuff in Doom, like the scene after Carl Urban takes the juice or whatever, and it goes first person. Best scene in the entire movie because it is Doom.
Doom is the first person game that is just
it was the best part of the movie. He had a gun. He's just going in wasting people. It's like, yeah, this is Doom. This feels more like Doom than the rest of the movie. I mean, and then of course, well, go ahead.
But I mean, along with that, video games haven't been all bad box office wise, right? Because like the Angry Birds games, movies, I mean, they made good. Yeah, the Warcraft movie made pretty good money.
Yeah, it did.
But they made a lot of its money overseas. That's the problem.
That's true. Hitman 47 though, didn't that make a lot of money here?
I don't know.
A lot in comparison to a lot of other video game movies. Yes.
Yeah, that's valid.
But
I feel like the only way you can make a good video game movie, at least try to stick to the source material. We'll probably talk about it a little later, like Sonic. But like, try to stick to the source material. Even if you have like different characters, try to stick to it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one movie that I think we've all been skipping around. Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
We gotta talk about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It is let's be real. The first Mortal Kombat movie made by Paul W.S. Anderson, it ain't good, but it's a staple. It's like when you think about video game movies that are not as bad as a lot of other ones, you think not Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat.
I mean both, but like
no. But you do think Mortal Kombat? Yeah, like it's a fun movie, and let's be honest, that theme song is awesome. It's like Laser Tag National Anthem. Yeah, that's like Laser Tag National Anthem right there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome, and like they do. What I do appreciate about Mortal Kombat, the first one, we're not going to talk about Mortal Kombat Annihilation just yet because I can rip that movie a new one. But what I actually really liked about Mortal Kombat is I really did capture the essence of a lot of the characters. Raiden was pretty well done, even though his voice sounded weird. Liu Kang was really good. The lady who played Sonya was great. Johnny Cage was awesome.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Johnny Cage was amazing. He was probably the best character in that movie because he was Johnny Cage. Yeah. That is the Johnny Cage that I remember playing in like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But then you get to Annihilation and they just chuck all of that out the window.
Yeah, because they tried doing their own thing and it just...
Right. I mean, they tried to bring in like characters like Sindel, Ermac.
Yeah.
And Kintaro. And I'm just like, it didn't give me the same feeling that the original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, either way, I entirely agree with you that it did not give the same effect. But they're still good movies to watch. If you're ever like feeling down, just watch Mortal Kombat movies and you'll perk up.
Listen, I will tell you this, and I will not. I can't like tell you guys to do this, but Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a great movie to watch when you're drunk. It is so. That is a guilty pleasure kind of movie. You got a couple of guys over, just get the drinks going, watching a really bad movie, man. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is the movie to watch.
I don't know, man. Mortal Kombat has the same effect on me as WWE, where it just makes me just want to like fight. So I don't know if that would work well drunk.
So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, Zach, you think you mentioned it briefly, like one of the deciding factors that make or break video game movies. What makes a video game movie difficult to make? And you said that
you're trying to make something different from the original source material. Like you're not directly pulling, like for most of the movies, like video game movies I've seen. You're not directly pulling from the source material. You're just making your own thing and just kind of like chucking that to the side.
I think one of the big things is that you have to make sure your movie is both marketable to a general audience, but also you have to make sure you please your fan base, and that's very difficult. Like you see that with the comic book movies, that it doesn't always work. We saw it with Birds of Prey. You tried to make a film for general audiences, even though general audiences may not all go to see it, but you also had to placate to your fan base because those are the people that are going to go see your movie.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have directors who said, I don't care. We're just going to make it for the fans.
Yeah. And we'll get to one of those because
it
rightfully deserved. Come on, we got to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's so good. I have not seen it yet, but I've heard some good praises. I'm going
to go see it this week.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of great things from fans. That's the kicker.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones making the movie money.
Right.
So
critics are just there. I feel like we as a society, bottom text. I had to make the joke again. Come on. But we as a society have put so much we trust critics a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When a critic says, "Oh, this movie's bad," we take that word as gospel.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And critics have actually been not that favorable towards Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this kind of encourages people, like especially this movie, to have their own opinions about it. Especially if the fans are giving it high praise and like critics aren't. Like maybe not necessarily listen to the fans, but watch it yourself and have your own opinions for it.
But I think it's very important that you're seeing the fans have a unanimous positive response to this film.
Yeah.
And it's that spells really well for a sequel that's apparently in the works.
Yeah, I heard about that.
If they make a sequel though, they gotta have Knuckles and
Knuckles
and what's the one's name?
I cannot say anything yet because I had this spoiled for me.
Who's the third one though? There's
Tails.
That's what it is.
And Sonic, yeah.
Tails.
So I agree. Like also, it depends on what video game movie that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So like for instance, I'm gonna give you like 3 examples of video games. It's like Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat, and Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
These 3 are very different video games, which would mean that these 3 movies are going to be very different movies.
Nope.
Mortal Kombat's a fighting game. How do you make a good fighting game movie? It's very difficult because fighting games are they're very linear. Like it's one person against one person. You're beating each other up. How do you make a good movie out of that? Granted, Mortal Kombat has done gangbusters in terms of story, especially after NetherRealm got their hands on it.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil is a survival horror game.
Yeah. You
got to make sure you get all the nooks and crannies of the story.
See, but Tomb Raider's the outlier because it has deep story within it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
those are my favorite games growing up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love Tomb Raider. But then you have the Angelina Jolie movies, which taking our love of Angelina Jolie out of the window. Well, let's be real. Like watching those movies back, they're not that great.
No, but it's funny because when you look back at the movies, they try to stick to the source material.
They really did.
They really did.
And you know what? Kudos to them. I think it was just those movies came out at a time where Tomb Raider was out of style.
Yeah.
And I think also maybe they try to stick into the source material too much.
Yeah.
Because that is definitely a thing that is people have to be worried about.
Yeah, well, talking about Tomb Raider, Alicia Vikander's
the new one. Yeah, the newest one.
I haven't played because they came out with a new game.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, Shadow. I haven't played that one, but I played the first 2, and I love those games, the remastered games. Not remastered, but a retelling of the story.
Yeah, the new Tomb Raider games have been really
good.
Yeah, they were amazing.
I watched the movie, and it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
It felt like the new Tomb Raider movies. Like the new Tomb Raider games. Yeah.
Well, my thing is, if you didn't play the game before you saw the movie, you would just be very confused.
Right.
Because they tried to sneak in a lot of references and like stuff like that into the movie. Which
they succeed in. And so as someone who plays Tomb Raider games, when I noticed those and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. You know, because that was definitely a nod to the fans. Mm-hmm. That was definitely for the fans.
Yeah, I think those are some of the cool moments. Like even Assassin's Creed, not gonna lie, like when they had when Michael Fassbender's character got all the visions of the old assassins, and I saw Arno, Ezio, Altair, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I know these people. I'm like geeking out with my mom, right? My mom and my cousins right next to me, and they're like, what is he talking about? Like, it's Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed 2.
I know this is kind of like off topic, but like,
I mean, it's still on topic.
No. I'm saying like what I'm going to talk about. It's kind of like off topic, but I kind of felt the same way at the very end of Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh right.
The dark saber.
Yeah, when he put out dark saber, it brought me right back to Clone Wars. I was like, oh my god.
All right.
Speaking of Clone Wars, just shout out February 21st, 2 days.
So excited.
2 days from recording this podcast. Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 7 will be on Disney Plus.
Excited.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm binging it. I'm binging it.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm not. Okay, back to video game movies. Even though I think we need a little break from that. It gets us riled up talking about stuff that we love, because obviously we're talking about all these movies we love, video games and stuff like that. And now with a lot of these new video game movies that are coming down the pipeline, including the recent success of Sonic the Hedgehog, we're starting to see a shift in that narrative that video game movies are just inherently bad.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting a Monster Hunter movie, even though it's directed by the same guy that did Resident Evil, and it stars Alice herself, Mia Jovovich.
Okay.
We're getting a new Mortal Kombat movie.
A new one.
Yes, with Ludi Lin from Power Rangers, who played what's his name? The Black Ranger.
Okay.
Ooh.
As Liu Kang.
Okay.
And we're getting the Last of Us movie. We're getting an Uncharted movie with Tom Holland.
Dude.
Oh,
that's
him as Nathan Drake is going to be great.
And also, and obviously we're getting Sonic the Hedgehog. And rumor is, and again, can't corroborate this, but we might be getting a reboot of the Resident Evil movies.
Okay. I never watched the Resident Evil movies myself.
Yeah, I've never watched or really played those.
But we're starting to see a shift in that narrative that, video game movies are just inherently bad and inherently not successful. And I think with this stuff coming out, like, that's a very fair assessment. Filmmakers are learning from the mistakes of the past. If they're learning from Alone in the Dark, they're learning from Blood Rain, they're learning from Rampage, that, we can't try to make movies that don't fit this, like, they don't tie to the source material, because otherwise they're gonna suck. Everyone's gonna hate them. We're not gonna get we're not gonna get the general audience invested, and we're definitely not gonna get the original fans invested.
Yeah,
I'm excited, dude. It's a new. It feels like a new era for video game movies.
My only worry about the new movies coming out, especially Mortal Kombat specifically, my only concern is that they're going to use too much of the new technology.
Yeah.
They're going to try too hard with the new CGI to make it too much like the video games, and it's going to ruin it.
From my understanding, I actually got to see some behind the scenes stuff, and there's really not a lot.
Really?
Yeah. It's very practical. A lot of the stuff is very practical and very bloody.
Yeah.
Well, is it gonna be like rated R bloody?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Mortal
Kombat is rated M games.
Yeah, this is Mortal Kombat.
Like, if you play Mortal Kombat 11, like, if you've seen like the new Joker Brute's like Fatal Blow, where he pulls a Jason Todd, starts beating people over the head with his cane, like, you can't PG-13 that.
See, but when you said CGI, that made me think of The Hobbit, and I don't want anything to happen like that again, because Lord of the Rings is my baby. I love Lord of the Rings so much. What they did with The Hobbit, but like CGI wise.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson, what were you doing?
I think that sometimes it's necessary. Like with Monster Hunter, you can't go practical with that. You have to go CGI with that.
It's funny though, regarding back to Lord of the Rings, like I said, I never saw Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
So I saw the Hobbit movies first, and then went back and watched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, see, I watched Lord of the Rings.
Poor soul.
Yeah, I watched Lord of the Rings first. That's why I was like,
yeah, I grew up watching, Fellowship, Two Towers, and
Yep.
Return of the King.
Yeah.
So when I went to see, full disclosure, like, again, sort of getting a little bit off topic, which is perfectly fine. I remember I actually liked the first two. I actually really, I kind of liked an Unexpected Journey.
Yeah.
I love Desolation.
Oh yeah,
Desolation was awesome.
Benedict Cumberbatch
As
Smaug.
That man is he's so versatile. He's played Doctor Strange. He played Sherlock.
He could play a cactus, and we all
right, like.
But Battle of the Five Armies, what were you doing?
Yeah, Battle of Five Armies was.
Well, this is what happens when you try to split one book into 3 movies.
Wow, it's almost like we haven't seen that before.
I mean,
I'm just saying. I love me Harry Potter. Harry Potter's warranted, because if you've read Deathly Hallows, that is a book. That thing is like really long.
That would needed to be split into 2 movies.
Mockingjay did not need to be split into 2.
No, that was entirely just to make money.
Yeah. See, I liked. I mean, we're way off topic, but I liked like the first Hunger Games, and then Catching Fire was okay, and then the last 2 films were like.
Well, I mean, if you can even still tie that back into making video game movies, because you got stories that are super long.
Yes.
Like, I will, again, another example, just talking about Resident Evil, that's a 7-game story that's not including any of the side games.
Yeah.
You can't split any of those games into 2 movies.
And
you cannot.
I mean, each game itself is about like 10 hours of gameplay,
right.
Or like.
It's like, I think we just got me and my roommate just got finished playing Resident Evil Revelations again. Great game. It's if you ever want to play it. It got ported to the PS4, Xbox, PS3. And because it first came out on the 3DS, which is how you should play it. It's the only way that you should play it.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I played that game at least 3 times when I had the 3DS.
Nice.
But the story is very, very, very complex. You can't split that into 2 movies. It would feel off.
Yeah.
You would be missing something, and if you're trying to make money, that's not a way to do it. You just make your Resident Evil movie just straight up Resident Evil. Just go through the story.
Yeah. I mean, and this is gonna go like wildly off topic because we're talking about like splitting movies, but Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker
should have been split.
J.J. Abrams was gonna split it.
Should have been split to 9 and 10.
Honestly, if Disney would have just given J.J. Abrams full creative control and stayed out of it, that trilogy or 4 movies could have been the best Star Wars.
If anything, if he would have had control of The Last Jedi, you could still have 3 movies.
That would have been that was what really broke this trilogy. Was The Last Jedi. No, listen, we have talked very much about how the Last Jedi and how that movie really ruined Star Wars, but we really don't take into consideration how bad it was. Now we're watching it. It's just like you can see like. There was a story that was there,
but then
and there's a story those same story beats are in The Rise of Skywalker, but it's The Last Jedi that ruins it.
Last Jedi was so bad that I don't even remember going to watch it.
Yeah,
like I was talking to my dad the other day about it because after we saw Rise of Skywalker, and I was talking to him, and I was just like, I remember we went to see Last Jedi. And it occurred to me, and I was like, wait a minute, no, I don't. I was like, I don't remember ever going to see that movie, but like I remember watching it. And
just not to bash on Rian Johnson, he's a great director.
Yeah,
he's not. It's just not when it comes to connected stories.
Yeah, he was handed a full story that he could have continued, and it could have made this trilogy probably, if not one of the best trilogies. It could have beat out the prequels. It could have beat out maybe even the original trilogy. Okay, in my unpopular opinion,
I'll say this: Force Awakens is really great. Yes. I thought it set the tone for that trilogy very well. I think. It was everything that they tried to do with the Force Awakens. Obviously, it's basically a retread of A New Hope, but but they do that with a purpose, showing the fans, hey, listen, we can tell the old stories. Trust us to do something new. Trust us to do something different. We'll take us in a new direction, but we have to prove that we can do the old ones great already.
See, my issue with Force Awakens is, I'll admit, Force Awakens was a good movie, but my issue with it. I have so many issues with that, actually, but my main issue is the fact that J.J. Abrams had his own story that he was going to make.
In the studio.
And then Disney was like, no, let's play it safe for the first movie, introduce fans back. No. If they would have just given him control.
I understand that.
Yes.
I understand that issue. I don't see that personally. I think that it was a great decision for them to try to sort of ease, because remember, we're still coming off of Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. We're coming off people who have already have a bad taste. Star Wars has a bad taste in people's mouths because
Revenge
of
the Sith wasn't that bad.
I love the prequel movies. I personally love the prequel movies.
That is like my top 3 movie.
That's also not the general consensus around all the Star Wars, all the Star Wars. So you have to get fans invested into your story, and what better way to do that is to sort of try and tell a story that they're familiar with.
See, but like there's I get that. But there's also a thing of having a studio having too much control over a story and giving your director full reign. Yeah. Because it's Disney. You can afford to lose money. Honestly.
And see, buying Star Wars for $4 billion. I mean, you don't want to lose money in Star Wars.
And see, here's a main issue that I have with Star Wars is that they said that this was supposed to be the last movie, and then they proceeded to, after Rise of Skywalker came out, said they're going to plan to release, starting I think 2021, a new Star Wars movie every single year.
Well, it's not supposed to. Well, like. It was the end of this.
All of them are gonna be in theatrical. Like we're getting Obi-Wan and stuff. They now have a streaming service, Disney Plus, so that way it sort of relieves the stress, leaves some of that weight.
Sidebar: I'm excited for the Obi-Wan series.
Oh yeah,
so excited!
Great. All right, so we gotta hurry up and talk about our reshoot segment because man, we got off topic.
Okay. Why we off topic?
So we were talking about a lot of video games and stuff being made into movies, but I'm gonna go around the table. Adam, I'm gonna start with you. What video game / board game / card game should never be made into a movie or a television series?
I feel pretty much any movie or a card game, board game or card game shouldn't be made into, except maybe Clue. I feel like that'd be interesting. But for video games, God of War. Leave God of War alone. Yes. Leave God of War alone.
I agree.
That movie, those games are amazing. Leave those alone. Don't touch it.
Listen, God of War is a movie in and of itself.
Yes,
like, you don't need to do it.
Yeah.
The last God of War game was
so good,
spectacular. I have 2, like one for board game, one for video game. Board game, Monopoly. Never make that into a movie ever.
How do you even do that?
I don't even know. But
someone would figure it out.
That's a board game, and like, why? That's the first question. Why? But like, no, I'm not that. And also, they already did make this into a movie, but don't do it again. Mario, like Super Mario Bros. Or any amalgamation of Mario's like productions, like Mario Kart and like Yoshi and anything to do with that. Stop.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
I can understand Yoshi if they do it like they do Angry Birds, like just go full CG animation.
Yes, but like.
Other than that, no.
No.
All right, I'm gonna go with mine. This is again another franchise that I'm actually really a huge fan of. I love it, but I can't. You can't make a movie out of this, and it's Smash. You can't.
Yeah, you can't make a movie out of Smash.
That's valid. I wasn't even thinking of Smash.
Yeah, you can't do Smash.
Yeah, no.
You.
I think that's literally impossible.
I actually have 2. So it's Smash and another franchise that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah.
You cannot make a Kingdom Hearts movie. No. It's legitimately impossible for you to do Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, I forgot one. Well, Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
Well,
Call of Duty's already too much.
They've kind of already done that with multiple like war movies.
But they're not Call of Duty.
But they're not Call of Duty. If you made a Call of Duty title, like their campaigns in and of itself is a movie.
Yeah.
Like
the last one, Modern Warfare was ridiculous.
Yes, it was great.
The campaign for Modern Warfare was ridiculous.
Was it actually good?
Yes, it was amazing.
Really? It's so great. Like, it almost got me to buy the game.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
honestly,
that's the story.
Yes.
Wow.
If you try and do that, like the story in itself is actually pretty short. But if you try to make that into a movie, I feel like audiences would just click off. They would just check out.
Especially if you try to do the no Russian, no, they check out.
Not even check out. Dude had people being irate because I remember when it came out, like fans being like, "What the heck?
What did
just
happened?" Do?
Yes.
What if they tried to make it GTA into a video game?
Oh, I mean, it's not impossible.
No.
GTA 5 is basic. Again, it's another example. GTA 5 is practically a movie in and of itself.
That's a good segue because there's a movie coming out. I can't remember what it was with Ryan Reynolds.
Free Guy. Oh, Free Guy. Yeah.
It's pretty much GTA plus like Lego.
That's what
Lego
I thought
movie.
about.
It's
That's
both
really,
combined.
That's gonna be really fun.
I'm excited
I actually
for that.
mentioned it talking about. I'm really excited. Ryan Reynolds has great comedic timing. Obviously, we know that he's done 2 Deadpool movies.
Yes.
Come on now.
He's great with serious roles too. If you saw him in Six Underground on Netflix, that's an amazing movie.
And it's probably one of Michael Bay's better.
That was a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, it was a Bay movie.
That movie seemed too good to be Michael Bay.
It's cool. It's cool seeing a Michael Bay getting some more love. Have you ever seen 13 Hours?
Yes,
with John Krasinski.
That's such a good movie.
That's a Michael Bay movie.
That is such a good movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's so good.
It's about the Benghazi incident.
Yes.
Oh.
It was really, really good. John Krasinski was.
And it's directed
so
by
good.
Michael Bay, and he does really well in that movie. He really directs that movie well, even though you still have the Baysplosions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the only Michael Bay movies I ever saw were Transformers, and they were just explosions.
First one was good.
Yes.
First one was good. Third one is great. Everything else sucks.
Yes.
See, my opinion, once they took Megan Fox out of it, it became. Then they just started making movies for money.
Yeah.
Because once she was out of it, that should have been.
I think Transformers 3 should have been when they stopped, but they just kept going. Thank you guys so much. This was a very interesting.
Fun.
Well, we kind of went off topic a little bit, but that was so much fun to have. Like just bringing out like different movies and different like things that connect to video games. Not necessarily they are, but they connect to it, and it was great to have a conversation about it.
Right. Thank you guys so much again. We'll be back with a new episode. Going to be talking about some film scores. That's going to be very interesting. We're going to have a little film score reunion with 2 of my classmates that I actually had a music and film course with. So it'll be a little reunion episode. I'm really excited for that, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Be sure to check out all the other episodes. My name's Ayinde, and scene.